Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Jordan and welcome to JC's Anime Reviews, and in today's video we are going to be talking about another horror anime, and that anime is School Live. But before we begin, I just want to let you guys know that this anime has a twist at the end of the first episode that I kind of need to talk about in order to review the anime. So if you don't want to know anything about this anime, then don't watch this video. Me personally, I read the synopsis before I watched the anime, and I don't think that it would have really changed my opinion on it that much, even if I didn't know the twist at the end of the first episode, but it definitely would have made the first episode a lot better not knowing what the twist was. So that's your warning. If you don't want to know anything about the first episode, then don't watch this video, but for those of you who don't care or have already seen the anime, we'll be starting off by talking about the plot right now. Yuki Takia loves her school so much that she does not want to ever leave. Meguragaoka High School is a unique and lively place where Yuki enjoys her carefree life as a third-year high school student and member of the school living club. The club, consisting of the president Yuri Wakasa, the athletic Kurumi Ibusuzawa, the mature junior Miki Naoki, the supervising teacher Megumi Sakura, and the club dog, Taro Maru, prides itself on making the most of life at school. However, this illusion of endless bliss is just a bubble waiting to be burst, because Yuki is unable to perceive what is truly happening around her. In reality, all is not as it seems. The real purpose of the school living club is to escape from the shocking and disturbing truth. The girls are in the middle of a zombie apocalypse and have barricaded themselves inside the school as the sole survivors. School Live follows a group of girls who are forced to adapt to a post-apocalyptic life all by themselves. They have no means of contact with the outside world and are surrounded by hostile undead waiting to devour them. The girls must not only contend with the challenge of survival, they must also survive to maintain a false appearance of normality in Yuki's presence. So the twist I was talking about earlier is that they're in a zombie apocalypse, and for the entire first episode, except the last 2 minutes, you see everything through Yuki's eyes, but you can kind of tell that something isn't quite right. The stairs are blocked by a bunch of tables, and at the beginning of the first episode, Yuki says that she forgot that their club is supposed to stay at school and says that she almost went home, and when she says this, one of the girls looks concerned. So there are hints that something isn't quite right, and then at the end of the first episode, it shows Yuki talking to a classmate, and then Miki walks in, and then once she walks in, we switch to Miki's point of view, and what she's seeing is that the whole room is covered with blood, and Yuki actually isn't talking to anyone. Also, all the windows are broken. And then, from what it sounds like, once we get into the second episode, it sounds like what happened was that Yuki, basically when the zombie apocalypse first started, she kind of lost it, and isn't really able to perceive the reality that they're actually living, because she just kind of went a little bit, I don't want to say crazy, but she has this sort of like, it's probably like a mental illness where she can't perceive reality because of how horrible it is and how bad things went, so she's just seeing everything as if everything's fine because of how horrible it was, and just kind of refuses to believe that, and in her mind, nothing is bad and everything is fine. So while yes, it's sad that she can't perceive the world like everyone else can, it's also kind of a good thing because the world's pretty messed up, and a lot of people that Yuki used to know are dead and have turned into man-eating zombies. So it's kind of good that she can't perceive reality the same way everyone else can, because she doesn't really have to go through like every day being depressed or upset or worried about how messed up the world is about zombies, and she can just still have fun and be a normal kid and not have to worry about all these zombies and stuff because she's not perceiving that they're actually there and everything seems fine to her. Not only that, but because of this, she can help the other girls stay happy and have fun too. And in my opinion, this is the best thing about this anime, that because of Yuki, they can try to stay positive. Despite being in a horrible situation, they can try to look on the bright side and try to stay happy and positive, because Yuki's just constantly being really happy and just like excited about stuff, and it's almost like a normal kid, and she's kind of like the light in the darkness for all these girls. And they also do really well with all the other characters, but the only thing that really bothers me about the way that they develop these characters is that they mostly develop them through flashbacks, and developing a character through flashbacks is fine, But this anime is only 12 episodes long, and when half of those episodes are flashbacks to try to develop the characters, it kind of starts to bother me. Because I want to see what these characters are doing currently and not what they did before, and I want you to try to develop the characters through what they're doing currently and not just rely on flashbacks, because for the most part each girl gets their own flashback. It's sometimes one episode, sometimes it's a couple episodes, and they just show what happened at the beginning of the zombie apocalypse and what they were doing, and for the most part they kind of just only develop the characters that way, or they primarily use flashbacks for it, and after the flashback is over they don't do too much with the character after that. I mean, yes, there is some character development after the flashback is over, but for the most part, it's very reliant on using a flashback to just explain stuff or show what the character was like and try to build the character that way. And that got a little bit annoying. It's like, okay, you got a flashback, now we're done developing your character. Now let's go and do a flashback for this other character and show what happened to them and develop them that way. And then after that, we'll go to the next character. And it just kind of bothered me, and using the flashbacks too much was a little bit annoying. My favorite characters are Yuki and Miki because their character arcs and their character development was probably the best out of all the girls. But the other girls like Kurumi, Yuri, and the teacher Megumi don't get a whole lot of character development. Now, they do get some character development, but it's nowhere near as much as Yuki and Mickey. I keep thinking of Mickey Mouse whenever I say that. But anyways, those two get a lot of character development and their character arcs were really good. But the other girls don't get a whole lot of character development and just get like a little flashback of what happened when the zombie apocalypse started. And there isn't a whole lot of character development with them. Now, there is still character development, but nowhere near as much as the other girls, and that kind of bothered me. Overall, I still really liked all the characters. I just think that they could have used a bit more character development, and maybe if they had more episodes, it would be a little bit better. From what I understand, they've adapted, I forgot however many volumes of the manga, but it's not the full series. Like, the manga kept going, and it hasn't been fully adapted. I think it's been a few years now. I don't know if they'll adapt the rest of it or not. Maybe the manga's better, but yeah, I feel like that could have been an issue that would have been solved with more episodes, and maybe at some point in the future we'll get more. I have no idea. And yeah, maybe the manga explores it a little bit more and dives a little bit deeper into each of these characters, and I mean, I like to see that. Maybe I'll read the manga, I don't know. Also, one thing that kind of bothered me, this is kind of nitpicky, it's that the one girl, Kurumi, is the only girl who ever fights zombies. She uses a shovel to fight them, but it's only her, and I feel like there are certain situations they get into that I feel like could have been solved a lot quicker or a lot easier if there were more than one person that was allowed to fight. All I'm saying, it's a little thing that bothered me, but no one else ever tries to fight them. I feel like in real life, all of them would have had a weapon. I don't know, it just bothered me. I feel like all of them should have a weapon, and not just the one girl who's one of the smaller girls. That kind of bothered me. I know I'm just kind of throwing logic in there. I feel like it would have been smarter if all of them had weapons. Would have been a lot easier. Certain situations wouldn't have happened or would have been solved way easier. Also, I think that they do a really good job with the horror. While it's not really scary at all, they develop the characters well enough that whenever they're in like a thrilling situation, it ends up becoming kind of scary actually, because you care about the characters and don't want them to get hurt. And I feel like they did a really good job with that. And it kind of makes me wonder how good or how scary Corpse Party would have been if they had good characters. Because me personally, I found this scarier than Corpse Party because the characters, I liked them and I cared about them and I didn't want them to get hurt or die. So, I don't know, I find that funny, even though Corpse Party is way gorier and just tries to be a lot more horror than this. By the way, I did a review for a Corpse Party, the Corpse Party OVAs, if you want to check that out. But I just thought that was funny. I think this is actually scarier than Corpse Party because they have really good characters. And the zombies have this sort of like shadow over them at times. And while it kind of acts as censorship to maybe not show how bloody and gross they are, it also makes it creepier. Now, let me explain. I know that I've said, like, censorship in anime bothers me, but in this, the reason that it works is because the girls, they see these monsters as unknown, like, creatures. They don't really know much about them. They know that they're attracted to noise, and if you get bit, you die. And that's about it. And or if you die, you become one. They're like standard zombie rules or whatever. They know that about them, but they don't really know why this happened. So the creatures or the zombies are almost like unknown to them, so that shadow that it shows is kind of like representing that unknown feeling, and it almost makes it creepier. Now, they do take the shadow off sometimes, and when they do it, it's really creepy, and I think that that's awesome. When they do these close-up shots of the zombies, the shadow like goes away completely and you can kind of see their face like falling apart, and I think that they did a really good job with that, and I really like that they did that, and the horror just works because of how good the characters are, and even though it's not really that scary, it ends up becoming more scary because they're really good characters. Anyways, overall, I really enjoyed this anime. It has pretty good characters, pretty good story, and some good twists. Not only in the first episode, there's more twists later on, and I think they did a really good job with that. I obviously can't talk about it because it's going to spoil it, but I think they did a good job with that. So I'm going to give School Live a B+. So I would recommend checking out this anime if you want like a horror that's not necessarily creepy, but works because it has good characters and an interesting story. And yeah, I definitely recommend it if you like stuff like that, if you like mystery, stuff like that, even though it doesn't really look all that scary, especially from the cover. Yeah, the cover's probably on screen right now. Cover makes it look a lot like cuter and happier and stuff than it actually is. So I would recommend it, especially if you like something like Madoka Magica. While Madoka Magica is a lot better than this, it still gives you that kind of same vibe that Madoka Magica does. If you've seen Madoka Magica, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it kind of gives off that same sort of vibe. Not completely, but it's very similar. So if you're a fan of Madoka Magica, check this one out. If you're not, and you just kind of want to see a horror anime that's interesting, then check this one out. So I hope that you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you've been enjoying the horror anime reviews. It's almost the end of October, so I don't know how many more of these I'm going to do. Probably like 1 or 2 more. If I'm being honest, I don't know. Probably 1 more. We'll see. I'm going to try my best to do as many as possible, and maybe if we do this next year, I can plan it a little bit better and actually watch a lot of them beforehand, so it's easier to review, because a lot of these I had to just binge and watch real quick, so hopefully if we do it next year, I can do it better. Also, there's links in the description to all the previous horror anime reviews if you want to go check them out. Also, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. It helps support the channel and helps me out a lot, and I would really appreciate it. So anyways, I'll see you guys next time with another horror anime review, probably. Okay, bye.